Vaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Apatreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Ruttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam from Canto 3, chapter 26, verse 5. Correct?
Correct, Mother.
Chapter 26, Canto 3, verse 5. guṇair vicitrāḥ sṛjatīṁ sa-rūpāḥ prakṛtiṁ prajāḥ vilokya mumuhe sadyaḥ sa-iḥ jñāna-gūhayā. Once more. guṇair vicitrāḥ sṛjatīṁ sa-rūpāḥ prakṛtiṁ prajāḥ vilokya mumuhe sadyaḥ sa-iḥ jñāna-gūhayā. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Divided into varieties by her threefold modes, material nature creates the forms of the living entities, and the living entities, seeing these, are illusioned by the knowledge-covering feature of the illusory energy. I'll read that again. Divided into varieties by her threefold modes, material nature creates the forms of the living entities, and the living entities, seeing this, are illusioned by the knowledge-covering feature of the illusory energy. Purport: material energy has the power to cover knowledge, but this covering cannot be applied to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is applicable only to the prajāḥ, or those who are born with material bodies. The conditioned souls, the different material bodies, the conditioned souls, full stop. The different kinds of living entities vary according to the modes of material nature, as explained in Bhagavad Gita and other Vedic literature. Bhagavad Gita 7.12. It is very nicely explained that although the modes of goodness, passion, and ignorance are born of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, He is not subject to them. In other words, the energy emanating from the Supreme Personality of Godhead cannot act on Him. It acts on the conditioned souls, who are covered by the material energy. The Lord is the Father of all living entities because He impregnates material energy with the conditioned souls. Therefore, the conditioned souls get bodies created by the material energy, whereas the Father of the living entities is aloof from the three modes. It is stated in the previous verse that the material energy, as accepted by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in order that He might exhibit pastimes for the living entities who wanted to enjoy and lord it over the material energy. This world was created through the material energy of the Lord. So the so-called enjoyment of for the so-called enjoyment of the living entities. Why this material world was created for the sufferings of the conditioned souls is a very intricate question. There is a hint in the previous verse in the word vilokya, which means for the pastimes of the Lord. The Lord wants to rectify the enjoying temperament of the conditioned souls. It is stated in Bhagavad Gita that no one is the enjoyer but the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This material energy is created, therefore, for anyone who pretends to enjoy. An example can be cited here that there is no necessity for the government's creation of a separate police department, because it is a fact that some of the citizens will not accept the state laws. A department to deal with criminals is necessary. There is no necessity, but at the same time there is a necessity. Similarly, there was no necessity to create this material world for the sufferings of the conditioned souls. But at the same time, there are certain living entities known as Nitya Baddha who are eternally conditioned. We say that they have been conditioned from time immemorial because no one can trace out when the living entity, part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, became rebellious against the supremacy of the Lord. It is a fact that there are two classes of men: those who are obedient to the laws of the Supreme Lord, those who are atheists or agnostics, who do not accept the existence of God and who want to create their own laws. They want to establish that everyone can create his own laws or his own religious path. Without tracing out the beginning of the existence of these two classes, we can take it for granted that some of the living entities revolted against the laws of the Lord. Such entities are called conditioned souls, for they are conditioned by the three modes of material nature. Therefore, the words guṇair, vicitrāḥ are used. In this material world, there are 84 lakh species of life. As spirit souls, they are all transcendental to this material world. Why, then, do they exhibit themselves in different stages of life? The answer is given here. They are under the spell of the three modes of material nature. Because they were created by the material energy, their bodies are made of the material elements. Covered by the material body, the spiritual identity is lost. And therefore, the word mumuhe is used here, indicating that they have forgotten their own spiritual identity. This forgetfulness of spiritual identity is present in the jivas or souls, who are conditioned, being subject to be covered by the energy of material nature. Jñāna-gūhayā is another word. Guha means covering. Because the knowledge of the minute conditioned souls is covered, they are exhibited in so many species of life. It is said in the Srimad Bhagavatam, 17th chapter, 1st canto, the living entities are illusioned by the material energy. In the Vedas also it is stated that the eternal living entities are covered by different modes, and that they are called tricolor, red, white, and blue living entities. Red is a representation of the mode of passion, while white is a representation of the mode of goodness, and blue is a representation of the mode of ignorance. These modes of material nature belong to the material energy, and therefore the living entities under these different modes of material nature have different kinds of material bodies. Because they are forgetful of their spiritual identities, they think the material bodies to be themselves. To the conditioned soul, me means the material body. This is called moha or bewilderment. It is repeatedly said in the Kathopanishad that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is never affected by the influence of material nature. It is rather the conditioned souls or the minute infinitesimal parts and parcels of the Supreme who are affected by the influence of material nature and who appear in different bodies under the material modes. Om Tat Sat. Om Ajnanatimidandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namane. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Pradeshakarine. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Ram Hare. Hare Krishna. So these are instructions of Lord Kapila to his mother, and this is a very beautiful purport explained by Prabhupada. He is explaining how the Lord is creating, and in the process of creation, a stage is that the Lord glances at the material nature that is slowly rumbling into activity, and he impregnates it with living entities, right? And it's also mentioned here that the whole material nature has been agitated by the three modes. And the three modes, according to the three modes, living entities are created. False ego and agitated by the three modes. False ego in the mode of passion, false ego in the mode of goodness, false ego in the mode of ignorance. Each one produces one type of a product. So material bodies are created for all the living entities. Basic material ingredients are created, and then material bodies are created. So Brahma does that work of creating the bodies of the living entities from the basic sarga that is made by the Lord. Sarga, visarga. Visarga is a creation of the bodies of the living entities. So the statement is made here, guṇair vicitrāḥ sṛjatīṁ. Sṛjatīṁ means creation. Vicitra means variegated, many different sorts. So because of the three modes of material, sa-rūpāḥ prakṛtiṁ prajāḥ. With forms, material nature produces prajāḥ. You see, ja means being born. Prajāḥ means being born. Living entities who are born into existence with material bodies, it's mentioned here, are called prajāḥ. And then it says vilokya mumuhe sadyaḥ. Moha means illusion. At once they are illusioned. By then, sa-rūpāḥ jñāna-gūhayā. Jñāna-gūhayā means covering. Material, their knowledge is covered. So here is a definition of knowledge. This is real knowledge. Real knowledge is covered by Maya, material energy. And what is that real knowledge? I am spirit soul. I am part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I am eternally His servant. Jivere sa-rūpāḥ Krishnera nityadas. This knowledge is covered. And because of the covering and false ego, what does the new knowledge say? The new knowledge is material knowledge. It's not the original spiritual knowledge because it is covered now by Maya. So the reflection from that also will be colored. Like if you cover a white cloth, white tube light that we have here, with a green cloth, then you get green light. So jñāna-gūhayā, original knowledge is I am spirit soul, I am part and parcel of Godhead, I am eternal, I am eternally a servant of the Lord. And the Lord is a supreme spiritual personality. This is real knowledge. This gets covered. And in the covering, it produces a new false identity from the false ego. That false identity is that Ahamishwaro, Ahambhogi, Balaban Sukhi. I am great. My name is so and so. Look at me, how it is. Looking at the body, you identify yourself as being matter, material. It's very nicely explained here. I don't know how people have doubts about it. So, because of that, you think I am this body, I am matter. That means your existential situation is changed. You no more think you are spirit soul. That's why it's called fallen, patita. From your original platform, from your original knowledge, from your original constitutional situation, you have actually brought yourself down by the covering of Maya. It's only temporary. You cannot change your constitutional position because you're eternally a part and parcel of the Lord. That can never be changed by anybody, even by material nature. Krishna is not given the power of material nature to change that constitutional position. But temporarily, because you want to enjoy matter, you are given this identity, false identity, coming from false ego. So now you think I am this body, look at in the mirror and you see this is what I am. Then your notions are also like that. You think I am very handsome looking, I am a good singer, I am a very good actor, I look very beautiful, I am a model, I am, working in so and so company, I'm very intelligent, I am earning the most, I am a very good businessman. All these are false. All these are false. They are all covered. Jñāna-gūhayā productions, right? So we live in a world where everybody lives in a false notion about himself. Everybody. Everybody has no understanding of the reality. The reality is this, that there is a Supreme Personality of Godhead. And He has created this situation. Prabhupada is answering all the popular questions in the purport. Are, why all these things? If God is there, why is He doing all these things? Why is He putting us into illusion? What is the necessity for creating this material world? That He is explaining in the purport very nicely. Necessity is you want it. You want to live a material situation wherein you can be like the Lord. And that can never happen because the Lord is the Lord. Just like at home, the child feels, I want to be mother, father. So he is given a set of, build a house, small things, and cook in that, and a doll, and this thing. It can never be real because I am the father and you are the daughter. You cannot become father and I cannot become the daughter. It's already established. So at the most, I can give you a toy, this thing, and you can work. Thinking like that. Ahankara vimudhatma kartaham iti manyate. So thinking like that, you are created inside this falsity, covered. Your knowledge is covered. So this is not real knowledge, it's actually artificial knowledge. Artificial knowledge. And you have to have artificial intelligence only to deal with the artificial knowledge. So actually you're running on AI anyway. People think that AI is a new branch to study and they're investing the AI in machines and everything. But you can invest AI only because your intelligence is anyway artificial. What you invest, I don't think your intelligence is the real intelligence and that invested intelligence is the artificial intelligence. No. You also have artificial intelligence only. Why? Because it is based on jñāna-gūhayā. Covered knowledge is what is producing that type of intelligence. Intelligence means knowing actually knowledge. He is intelligent, he can understand. And what are we taught? We are kept inside the illusion and we are taught about the fact that who I am, what is matter, and all that. But it's all devoid of anything spiritual. Because it's devoid of anything spiritual, you don't understand reality. You perpetuate that same falsity and you understand more and more of it. So your intelligence also is artificial. So what you invest in machines and robots, everything is also artificial. That's also AI. Only when you uncover the Maya will your real knowledge come, and then your real intelligence will surface. That is not AI. That is real intelligence. That is what Krishna says He will give. Dadami buddhi yogam tam yenamam upayanti te. He is not going to give artificial intelligence for you to enjoy matter further. That He does not give. He is not giving that. That is as per your karma. Of course, you can say in one sense He is only giving it as per your karma. But this real intelligence, if you so desire to know about your real self, and if you perform devotional service, then you become situated in the reality. And for that, you have real knowledge and real intelligence functioning. Right? Knowledge as such is available. It is not something that's not available. But you have to desire to be uncovered and get real knowledge about the self. So self-realization means first understanding who are you. Purushasya Atma Darshanam. Bhagavatam says. In the previous purpose, Prabhupada has quoted this. Getting to know who are you, what I am. Tam evam viditva mrityumeti. Shvetashvatara Upanishad. The process of understanding who actually you are, what is your identity, that is the first step. So once you understand that I am spirit soul, then you are also able to understand that I am existing as spirit soul, not alone, standalone reality. No, I am a dependent reality. My existence is dependent on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Supreme Spiritual Soul. So simultaneously, when I understand who am I should also understand who is God. Then only the realization is complete. If you understand who I am a part and parcel, jivera sa-rūpāḥ Krishnera nityadas. I am eternally a servant of the Supreme Lord Krishna. Then your knowledge is complete. Because with that knowledge, you can cut your attachment to this material world and you can establish attachment to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the reality. This is the purpose of education. This is the purpose of knowledge. Is what? To understand who is God and to understand who are you and what is the interrelationship. That's why in the material world, if you don't pursue spiritual knowledge, you are just artificially living. It's all artificial intelligence. It's all on base of perceptions. Nothing is real. And you just herded by material nature through the three modes. Like you see sometimes in Coimbatore here, I see in the front all these, the shepherd comes in and all the sheep, a whole lot of them. A whole lot of them. Passing stool all over the place. They get herded by him. And he puts a fence for them and puts them inside. And they just round and round in one place, completely controlled by the shepherd. They are not actually free. In the same way, material nature through the three modes is herding you. And everybody is being given constantly information, what to do. And all those dictates of material nature we hear and we carry out without any understanding of who I am and why should I do this. Nobody asks these questions. But if you talk about God, immediately they ask question about why should I believe in God? But why don't you ask questions about who are you and what is happening to you? And who is giving you dictation? Why are you taking those dictations that are coming from the mind? How do you know if it is, how do you know that it is valid? It is true. But we are constantly dictated. And we constantly busily carry out these duties. All in the artificial realm, through your artificial intelligence. And we cater to that material energy's pushings. So that is called Vacho Vegam, Manasa Krodha Vegam, Jikva Vegam, Utaro Upastha Vegam, Etan Vegan, Yo Vishaheta Dhiraha. This is mentioned in the Upadeshamrita. Vega means the pushings. Instructions are coming by the three modes through your mind. Manasa Vegam. And then that translates itself into senses Vegam. And you're pushed and you act. So constantly you are also a robot. You don't have to think that when we create these robots and we invest artificial intelligence in them, we're just creating another mirror image. Just that the soul is not there. Spirit soul is not there. And you wonder at your own creation, my gosh, it is working. It is doing all the things that I'm doing. Maybe I am also like this. Yeah, right, you are like that. They are almost at that conclusion. And then they make a mistake of thinking that, oh, we are all just machines. No, can't you see? It's so openly clear that that machine which you created and you invested in it is apparently intelligent. It is not possessing intelligence. It's invested intelligence. It's invested intelligence, right? But you are the controller of that machine. It's an extension of yourself. It's programmed and you control it. So if that can do so many things, you are also doing in the same way. But the point is, you are spirit soul. You are spirit soul, you have an identity, you have an original identity, an original knowledge, right? And consciousness manifesting. So all these things are there. And if you wake up to that, then the covering lifts and you come to know who you are. It's so clear by your own experience also. What the Bhagavad Gita and the Bhagavatam is saying, you can see, because that is why creation is so interesting. How did you make this robot? The material nature made it. Kapila is saying, there's an automatic factory. Millions and trillions of such robots are manufactured by Krishna's factory, robotic factory. And the robotic factory is so advanced. It's got its agencies inside each mother's womb. Whether it's a cat or the dog, female, material energy has got all these species producing the bodies inside them. What an amazing setup. Talk of industrialization, talk about manufacture, which we do so sloppily and affect the whole material world with deforestation, denuding, pollution, climate change. So many things we create a havoc. But if you study very carefully, there is already all these things existing in the material nature. Material nature is the earth is a fantastic resource. And there's a whole lot of things happening. And Krishna has set it up. He set it up. If you just study it very carefully, you utilize it to uncover yourself, not to perpetuate that same illusion. So you don't have to recreate the illusion. The illusion is already created, you are already illusioned. Why are you recreating another illusion? You're supposed to get out of the illusion, that's the job. It is not that I'm jailed because of a crime. I go inside the jail and create another jail. It's so stupid. I should actually think of how to get out. Once you're imprisoned, you should immediately think how to get out. This is what is knowledge. This is what is knowledge. But instead, if I settle down in the jail, I fight with each other for my extra ladle of soup, and I say that this is mine, this is my area, this is my room, and he's coming into my room, he took my water, he did that, we get totally absorbed in the situation we are in. And we try to secure ourselves. Some of them stay for a very long time in the prison houses, 40 years. And then when they're released, they don't want to go. Because I'm so used to this place, I will stay here and work. Give me a job here. Give me a job here. And exceptionally good people are given a job here. And they're even given quarters inside there. They want to live in the jail only. Because they don't want to go outside. This is meaning of material conditioning. You stay for so long in the jail and you identify so much with the jail that you want to be in the jail only. This is how we have got a population of people who are addicted to material life. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, repeatedly keep coming back to this material world. Completely having forgotten that I should get out. There is a Supreme Lord. I have another spiritual world. So it's so unfortunate if you do not, in the human form of life, utilize it for understanding what is going on. Who am I? These are really questions. Sometimes even devotees don't ask these questions deeply and try to understand it. They just talk about it, they just repeat it, but they don't ingest it, they don't internalize it, and they think about it very deeply. That means most of my life is filled with perceptive activities, activities that I perceive and am dictated to do. And I perform them. But really speaking, none of them are going to stand. They will all break down because I will die, the world will be destroyed. What will really stand is the contributions you make towards your real understanding and real knowledge. That is why there is a process of how to get out, that's also mentioned. How to get out of the jail, not that you rebel against the forces, not that you see fantastic movies of people escaping from concentration camps, from jails, and this and that and all that, and you think very great about it. No, That's not the way to escape, because you'll never escape like that. Mama maya duratyaya. Mame viye prapadyante mayamitam karante. The way to escape from the jail is to start glorifying that person who is involved in making the jail actually the Supreme Personality of Godhead. By glorifying that person and establishing a connection with that person. Don't sit and fight with the warden. Don't sit and fight with the cellmates. All that is the tendency that we have. Don't waste your time. Reach out to the Prime Minister, to the temple, to the President, and establish relationship. For him, it's only one jail in one place like that. He's got many jails in many places. The Supreme Lord has got so many things in the spiritual world itself. This material world itself is something very small of his manifestation. And in that there is these jails where you are stuck up. So if you directly call upon him, that facility is there. That facility is a hotline. When I was earlier, many years back, I was, hearing a joke told by one of the devotees. It's a very hilarious joke. It just says that one of the Swamijis from here, from India, visited the Pope in the Vatican. And the Pope there entertained him very nicely. But one strange thing was that he wanted to make a call back here in Vrindavan. Where is he from? So from there he made a call and he was charged for it in dollars. This is the amount of phone you have to pay. This is supposed to be the headquarters, Vatican. But for calling outside, you have to pay. Foreign call you make, you have to pay. So he paid. And he was a little amused. And then after a long time, the Pope came to India. And he invited him in Vrindavan, Rumbar, I came there, you come. So he came to his ashram, it seems. And then he said he wants to make a phone call. So he said, oh yes, go ahead and make a phone call. After making the phone call, he asked, I made a phone call. I want to pay you. So he was told, actually, in the Vatican, it is meant to be that he made a phone call to Vrindavan to speak to God. That's what is mentioned. And he had to pay for it. When Pope came to Vrindavan, he also wanted to make a phone call. So he made a phone call. But there, he said, there are no charges. He said, no, why? It's a local call, he said. It's a local call. Krishna lives here only. God lives here only. You're in God's place. No charges here. So in one swell swoop, he alienated that in Vatican, you charge me. That's because it's not the holy place. It's not the place of God or whatever it is. And he came to Vrindavan. It's a local call. There are no charges because God lives here and you called God here. So it's no problem. Something like that. So I found it very amusing. Why? Because we are situated in the material world and we don't know our situation. We are in total ignorance, and because of that ignorance, we suffer a lot. And when we are told directly by Krishna, the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is saying, Anityam asukam lokam imam prapya bhajasvamam. This material world is a place of misery. Anityam asukam. And it is temporary. The best thing to do here, the most intelligent thing to do here is to chant the holy name of the Lord. Bhajasvamam, worship me. In Kali Yuga, the best way to worship the Lord is to chant his holy name. So intelligent people do that. See, yajantihi sumedashaha. So we understand from the Bhagavatam, which is so brilliant, so wonderfully enlightening, about who we are, what we should do, where we should go, and all that. So here Kapila is explaining this to his mother. He's saying, this is how I've created it. And this is the desire of the living entity, so I'm making it available to them. But they can any time get out of it. It's not just a temporary thing, that as soon as you say, Ma, I'm hungry, the mother will start giving her cooked food and everything. Because what you cook in your so-called small stove, in your toy, this can never satisfy you. So what all we do in this material world, thinking we're doing these great projects, we remain consistently dissatisfied because we are not situated in our element. We are not situated in the real, right? So situating ourselves in the real, the attempt to do that is what is religion. It's called religion because you become interested in getting situated in the reality. Religion it is. Not just religion. It's real igion. Being situated in the reality. So the process, whichever religion teaches you how to get out of this jail and teaches you about the real owner of everything, Isavashamidam Sarvam, that person is called Guru. The person who teaches you how to get out of this place because he knows about it. Yaninas Tattva Darshina. And he has seen people get out of it. And he has seen how to get out of it. The only way to get out of it is to get knowledge about God, which means the material covering goes. Anavritam. It is uncovered, right? And you get to see yourself as you are. And you get to see God as He is. And you understand it's real. It's not at all fictitious. In fact, the world is fictitious. Such an amazing illusion. When you talk to people about God, they think, what are you talking? It's so unreal. But actually, what they are thinking is unreal. It's the other way around. Yanisha, what is day for the living entities in this realized state is night for them. And what is night for them is day for them. In this way, Krishna is saying, Yasyam Jagrati Samyami, Pashyato Muni, the learned, educated person, he can see the reality and he can see what is happening. And he is amused to see how people are totally absorbed in the unreal and they take it to be the real. This is a very serious thing. Every day, every minute, every second, we are living in unreality and considering it to be reality. And we die. We should ask a question, why am I dying? Why can't this last forever? No, it doesn't, because it's temporary. It's a jail, right? So, illusion is very amazing. Illusion is so amazing that sometimes even if you teach people the truth, they illusionize it and they remain in the same platform. So, the power of material energy of the Lord cannot be underestimated. So, it's mentioned here that the living entity has been covered by material nature. Prakṛtiṁ potency, Avranatmika potency. The Avranatmika potency is the covering potency of material nature. So we should always try to think deeply that what I am thinking, what I am feeling, willing is not me. It's not me, it's the mind. Made to think, feel, will. It's a program running. I am a spirit soul. I am sleeping spiritually. If I wake up, right, things will change. Bhagavatam helps you to wake up. The spiritual master's instruction helps you to wake up. The Acharya's instruction given in the books helps you to wake up. They are all interested in waking everybody up and send them back to reality. They're coming from the world of the real. Right? So material world actually is a wrong place. And it looks like a right place, and you justify everything in a strange way. Intelligence means seeing something is wrong and asking questions. That's intelligence, not simply accepting whatever people say they accept it. Intelligent people always ask questions. try to ascertain, put it in place, and then act. So Kapila is informing his mother about how he has done creation or is going to do creation, and he's explaining the preliminary stages of how he does it. That's why this pastime of the Lord it is called, because he is associating with material nature through the potency of his spiritual nature. Actually, he doesn't get influenced by material nature. Never. He's the master. And he uses material potency, and it produces all these varieties, vicitrāḥ, because of the three modes, guṇair, vicitrāḥ. So each mode produces amazing varieties. And there are so many living entities. Each one of them has got svabhavastu pravartate, their own acquired individuality, svabhava. And according to their karma, according to the three modes, they all function. But rarely somebody is told about the real business of life. And he opens up, practices it. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada is a person who's going around the whole world telling, watch out, this is not real. The reality is Krishna, your spirit soul. Wake up, connect, chant the holy name. He is going and screaming it everywhere, all over the world. Even today he is doing it through so many devotees. And people are taking it up by the Lord's mercy. So we are a movement, ISKCON movement, is having people escape the jail and get into the reality. And we are loudly speaking about it. We don't make any compromise. To people who are in the jail, you should give them clear information of what is the meaning of outside. Then only they'll become interested. Om Tat Sat Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Hare Krishna.